After a week spent on a solo state visit to Brazil, Queen Mary chose a very significant tiara to host the Icelandic president for a lavish gala dinner. After a series of solo engagements saw them separated by an ocean, Queen Mary and King Frederik of Denmark have reunited to host a starry gala banquet at the Christiansborg Palace in Copenhagen. Held in honor of the newly elected Icelandic president, Halla Tómasdóttir, the dinner marks King Frederik's first state visit since he ascended to the throne earlier this year. And how best to mark such a historic milestone in the royal couple's reign? A historical tiara, of course. All the pomp, circumstance and ceremony of the Danish court was on full display for the dinner, which marked the midway point of Tómasdóttir's two-day visit to Denmark, and Queen Mary has once again selected a tiara that encapsulates the illustrious tradition of the House of Glucksburg. But first, the gown. Walking arm in arm with King Frederik into the palace's marble dining room, Queen Mary was the picture of royal elegance in a purple tiered skirt and lace-style top. According to eagle-eyed style experts, Mary has been following in the footsteps of the Princess of Wales and the Duchess of Sussex with a regal rewear. Her sparkling top is reportedly from the Jesper hovering gown that she debuted a decade ago, and she first wore the silk Oscar de la Renta skirt back in 2005. It was Queen Mary's headwear, though that drew the most attention at the gala banquet. The mother of four wore the pearl pour tiara, a piece that harks back to generations of Danish rulers before her. According to the court jeweler, the pearl pour, named for its pear-cut gemstones, dates back almost 2 centuries. In 1825, King Friedrich Wilhelm III of Prussia supposedly gifted the tiara to his daughter, Princess Louise, on the occasion of her wedding to Prince Frederick of the Netherlands. After Princess Louise's death 45 years later, she bequeathed the piece to her daughter, Queen Louise of Sweden and Norway. Tragedy struck, however, and Queen Louise died before she could inherit her mother's collection. So the tiara was passed down to her own daughter Lovisa, who had just married the future King of Denmark Prince Frederik. Thus, the pearl pour set made its way to Copenhagen, and it's been the most iconic piece of Danish royal jewelry ever since. As Queen, Lovisa bequeathed the pieces to the Danish Royal Property Trust, ensuring that they would be inherited by each Queen of Denmark for generations to come. Queen Margrethe, for example, donned the pearl pour for some of the most monumental moments of her reign, including the New Year's celebration that was held just hours after she announced her abdication. Mary debuted the historic tiara on a state visit to Norway for another state banquet earlier this year. It truly is a piece worn for the most significant of royal occasions, and her decision to wear the set highlights how important this first gala must have been for the Danish royals. Indeed, King Frederik looked dashing in full dress uniform, paired with gold epaulets and a cane. His aunt, Princess Benedict 80, once again showcased why her family once called her the most royal of us all, donning a full-length blue gown and the Burleberg fringe tiara, fast becoming a favorite piece for the Princess. Tómasdóttir's official visit held, according to the Danish royal website, to establish, strengthen and promote links between the countries, including social, commercial and cultural ties, kicked off earlier that morning. The Icelandic president, who also wore a glittering gown for the state dinner, arrived in Copenhagen with her husband, Bjorn Skulason. As is customary amid Scandinavian diplomacy, the pair arrived by boat, docking near the North Custom Houser before journeying to the Citadel, or Castellet, to lay wreaths at. No doubt King Frederik and Queen Mary were happy to be reunited for the glittering occasion, which comes as they celebrate the anniversary of their engagement. The pair spent the past few days apart, as Mary made her way to Brazil for a solo visit. Venturing through the Amazon rainforest, she discussed climate conservation with local experts, before discussing women's rights with President Lula. With highlights of the trip including a quick lunch of insects and a moment spent feeding a rescued manatee calf, it was quite the adventure for the Danish queen, and certainly a contrast to the night of history and glamour upon her return to Copenhagen.